Hi everyone, this is Amy with My Plant Passion, and today we are going to talk about IVs. IVs are super beneficial to your home. They help purify the air, and these guys are super easy to take care of. I will give you some tips and tricks on how to keep them happy, and today I'm also going to go through mine and make sure that there's nothing going on with the roots, and also kind of take all the dead stuff out like that. Sometimes they will drop leaves. Just want to clean it up and make it look good, and also take care of the plant too, and make sure it's doing well. These guys do not like to sit in water. I ended up getting a self-watering one pot. It's a hanging basket, and you can self-water them from the bottom, but I don't like that. What I like to do is make sure that it has plenty of drainage, and it'll drain down to here. That way it's not sitting in water. And I'm also going to put worm castings in there too, to kind of give it a little boost. But these guys are pretty healthy. I let mine grow out, get a little too dry. They're more forgiving if they dry out versus getting too wet. It's always harder to recover plants that get too wet. These guys like moisture, and they can tolerate decent temperatures, like around 50 to 70. That's about their happy place, is 50 to 70 degrees. That's about what we keep our house, maybe a couple degrees higher than 70 in the summertime. And then we usually don't have to turn our heat on at all in Florida, which is nice. But okay, so these guys are looking pretty good. Let me go ahead and make sure I go through this one too. And as long as they're not dropping too many leaves, they're fine. They're still looking very healthy at the top and the bottom. But they do need to get a drink. Again, I let mine dry out pretty good, and then I give them a nice drink. I would probably check them about once a week, just to make sure that they're not too dry, but don't overwater them. I would recommend getting you a pot or a hanging basket that has really good drainage, and get you some really good drainage soil as well. And these were really small when I first got them, when I first transplanted them. So these guys are actually doing very well. They are taking off pretty good. They like medium sun, or not in sunlight, but indirect sunlight. And these are pretty easy to take care of. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take a look at them. There's that one. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and let you see this one here. And these are only 2 small baby plants when I first put them in there. So they've pretty much covered this entire pot now, which is good. That's what we want. And these are, they like to climb and like hang. So these are perfect for baskets, hanging baskets. But I'm going to go ahead and get some worm castings here. Give them a little bit of nutrients. Okay, we're going to put them around the soil base. And again, these are really good for purifying your home. They help remove mold. They purify the air also. We keep these guys in the living room, right next to windows. And they also look nice too. If you see my recent videos, most of my plants have a purpose. Most of mine have benefits like air purifiers and things like that, to help purify the air and take out mold and things like that. And you can get the worm castings at any like hardware store as well, or like your local garden store. I'm going to give a little bit in the middle too. There we go. And then once I do that, I give them water. That way the worm castings and the nutrients and stuff can go all the way down to the roots. And it's making my nose itch. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We'll go a little bit more. You're not going to hurt any plants by putting worm castings in there. It's super beneficial to the plants. There we go. Okay, that one is done. I'm going to go ahead and water that one. Actually, I'm going to test the water just to be sure. I'm pretty sure it's dry because I can feel it. Yeah, see, that is super dry. Very, very dry. So again, they are more forgiving if they're on the dry side versus wet. And these definitely need a drink. I'm going to go ahead and water this one really good. And I can see it coming on the side, so that's a good thing. I don't want to water it too much. But I do have drainage holes, and well, actually drainage in the bottom of this. So the little hole here, if any comes out of there, that means I overwatered it. Actually, it's looking good. There is a little bit of water in there, but it'll evaporate. Okay, so next is this one. It's looking good. They're a little dry in there. So okay, and I love the leaves on these. They're so pretty. They're shaped like little hearts. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this guy or gal. I haven't named my plants yet. I don't know if any of you have named your plants, but these are like my babies, so I haven't named them yet, other than Ivy. And my orchids are Orchid. Also, Ivy is toxic to cats, so that is something to take into consideration if you have a cat that likes to get into things. I would not recommend, well, I mean, if you have them hanging, they should be okay as long as your cat doesn't get into them. But I just kind of keep an eye on your cat, make sure they don't try to eat them. Okay. And this is also very, very soothing for it's a huge stress reliever for me just to mess with my plants, put my fingers in the dirt, and really look at them. This is a good way to see if it's healthy as well. Instead of having them hang up there and try to water them while they're hanging, you really can't. You're short like me. I'm only 5 foot, so I can't really see how they're doing unless I get them down. So it's always good to observe them and kind of look them over, make sure there's no bugs on them and things like that. Okay, we're gonna get the middle now. Oh, missed a little spot here. And they do like humidity, so if it's pretty dry in your house, because right now, wintertime, it can be very, very dry on plants. I recommend you can spritz them with water. I always use purified water because sometimes the chemicals that they put in our tap water, chlorine, fluoride, may not be good for them. So I do recommend getting a good water, like purified water. You can get that at the store, or if you, like me, I have a water purifier, or like a distilled water distiller. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and water this one too. Again, you may want to go ahead and fertilize these once a month as well. And they recommend once or twice a week. Well, actually, once every 2 weeks for the spring and summertime as well. So, okay. It's looking really, really good. I'm gonna let those dry out just a little bit before I hang them up. That way they don't drip all over the place. Thank you so much for watching my video.